how to decide what is to be done and what is not to be done in a given situation. This is a problem which humanity is facing from eternity. There have been big texts like Ramayana, Mahabharata, written based on this question. So, with this learned audience here, I would like to explore this particular question. Please share your view or your own experience. If you are confused, in a situation whether to do it or not, how? How do you respond? Yeah. Anybody? आपको जीवन में डिसीजन लेने में क्या मापदंड होता है? आप किस प्रकार से अपने जीवन में डिसीजन लेते हैं कि क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? ऐसे दो सिचुएशन होते हैं, उसमें आप किस बेसिस पर ये डिसाइड करते हैं कि मैं ये करूंगा या ये करूंगी? यस, सूर्य जी, प्लीज टेल मी। अनमी, ओके, सॉरी, या प्लीज।
Good morning, sir. Yeah. So, sir, sometimes I let time take its course. So it helps me a lot, because sometimes if you wait and be patient, things will turn out as the result that you wanted or you've expected. But sometimes if in anger or in haste you just say something or you do something in a given situation, then I know it's very wrong and it's backfired. But because in the heat of the moment you're not thinking clearly, so now over a period of time I have observed and noticed that I shouldn't give an instant reaction, so I just be quiet. So this is a little improvement I have seen in my own life and in myself, and it has helped me. So I'm learning to be patience, which I didn't have, say, 20 years back or at the start of my career. But now, over a period of time, I'm like, just wait it out, let time play its course, because I have now observed that those instant reactions didn't actually help me. Maybe I was naive, not experienced, didn't have much exposure. Then travel, meeting people, it helps you grow. It helps you understand people's point of view. Then that empathy, I was not empathetic before. It's not that I didn't have this feeling, but it was not very pronounced, or I didn't have that much cognizance. So now I know in a given situation that sometimes it's best to be quiet and let things time take its course. So that's my personal experience. Thank you, sir.
So Surya ji has said that she lets the time decide. So she tries to push it as much as possible, not being very proactive, but remaining passive and letting others decide, or the time takes its course and then let the things flow. Okay, so we have some more people who have unmuted. Gandhi, sir.
Yes, sir. So to take a decision, anything in any situation, our mind should be free. So that means that whether that means free means that whether what to take. So whether this is right or that is whether this is right or that is right, we have to analyze it suddenly, immediately. So we have to develop intuition also. And so we are gone meditating and thinking the God is with us, God is lying with us, like that. If you develop for a long time, you may get, or you may make that mantra to come to your mind and ask the God whether should I do it or not. So what we have to develop, that intuition you have to develop. Of course,
So when you
sometimes
ask God, do you
it
get
is
the answer?
very difficult to get that intuition. It takes a long time to develop that intuition, and also to develop the God is with us, and God can decide also, and
Gandhi sir,
God
I would
can
like
give
to
us.
ask you, have you experienced this? When you ask God, do you get the answer?
Uh, Sometime it is happened, sir. Sometime it is happened. Sometimes it happens.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have Srinath ji who has unmuted himself, and then I don't know who is read me. Yeah.
Yeah, how to decide what is to be done? I don't decide at all anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I leave it to universe to decide for me.
oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah,
So, can you give an example, Srinath ji, how that happens?
like for example, uh, I procrastinate things too much, and I don't decide. I don't take any action. But sometimes I feel the universe gives me a signal that I need to take some action, and until I am pushed, I don't decide at all.
Okay. Okay. So, not doing it, letting others do, or unless one is pushed, one can avoid it. So that is another way in which Srinath ji, tries to answer this question. We have Redmi who has unmuted, and then Lalita ji. Redmi, would you want to say? Please introduce yourself.
नमस्ते सर।
ओ नमस्ते। हाँ बोलिए, आप कैसे डिसाइड करते हैं मैडम आनंदवल्ली जी?
Pardon?
आप कैसे डिसाइड करते हैं क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है?
Yeah, it should be. We have to leave it to God.
Okay, when you pray to God, do you get the answer?
Yeah. I I will never pray for me. I I will tell God, be with me and direct me in the correct path.
So how do you let the God decide? आप ऐसा पेपर में लिख देते हैं और गॉड के सामने चिट्ठी डाल देते हैं और जो चिट्ठी आई उसको उठा लेते हैं, ऐसे करते हैं या कैसे गॉड से आंसर कैसे मिलता है आपको?
When some important decision to take instantly, I will put that paper.
Oh, you put the paper and then whichever
Other,
paper comes, you do that, is it?
yeah, of course.
Okay.
No, when I am praying, when after bath, when I am praying, I will tell God, मुझे वो चाहिए, ये चाहिए, कुछ भी नहीं चाहिए. Be with us and direct us in the proper way.
Okay.
That's all.
Wonderful, wonderful, madam. Lalita ji, please share your view. After that, Abhay Palwankar ji will talk.
Yeah. Namaste, sir. Namaste, everybody. Sir, my this thing is, most of the time till now, I'm just going with the flow. And I very rarely, sit and think that, okay, I have to decide this today. I have to make it happen today. I just go with the flow. But there is also an effort to take a decision which will be logical. So my thinking is always, in a logical way. Okay, if this I do this, this happens. If I do this, this happens. So I try to go in a logical sense. Yes, of course, turning to God is always there. But it's not like I'm sitting and praying and saying, God, make it happen, make it happen. I pray and then leave it. And I know that it comes back. Sometimes I may not even sense when it's come back. Because I think we keep praying for so many reasons, for so many things. So it's always coming back, but many a times we lose track. So this
How do
is
you
my
decide?
decision.
The question is very specific. How do you come to that decision? This is to be done or that is to be done?
Whatever is good, whatever doesn't harm anybody, and which can happen ASAP. As soon as possible, it should, if you need a decision to be taken immediately, then you have to make it happen. Sometimes it may go wrong, but Yeah, these are the two main things, sir.
Lalita ji has given another cue. She uses the phenomena that it should not harm anybody and it should be a good thing and it should happen as soon as possible. Fine. So we have some more people here. Abhay Palwankar ji, बोला कसं
सर
तुम्ही
सर
decide
अभय
करता?
सर काही काही जे निर्णय असतात ते विचारपूर्वक घेतले जातात आणि दूरगामी त्याचा विचार केला जातो की ठीक आहे आज तो निर्णय चुकीचा असेल पण पुढचा भविष्याचा जर विचार केला तर तो फायद्याचा होईल असा विचार करून देवावर विश्वास ठेवला की नाही ठीक आहे माझा निर्णय चुकीचा आहे पण मी आज घेतोय तो तर पुढं म्हणजे चांगला असेल वाईट असेल पण तो आता निर्णय घे आणि मी निर्णय घेतो त्याला तू मान्यता देऊन टाक असं करून आपण निर्णय घेतो तो कधी कधी भविष्यात अतिशय चांगला निर्णय होऊ शकतो जरी आज चुकीचा असला तरी तर
Okay.
मला असं वाटतं सर सर
Abhay ji has brought in another, beautiful point. He says that we take decision, not looking at the immediate reward, but looking at it in the long term, whether it is going to give me satisfaction and peace. And in that also, you should have faith in God. And we pray to God that I am taking this decision, having faith in you. And the vision should be a long-term vision, not a immediate gratification. Okay. Anybody else? Any other views?
Sir, hello.
Yes, yes. Malini.
Always destiny be God's upon God's will. No.
So destiny is another thing here that we will discuss. Some people say that it is already predetermined what you will do. And there is, you are just an instrument. It is already determined. How many of you believe? How many of you believe that whatever you are going to decide is already decided and it is already destined? You are just an instrument. You actually do nothing. There is no such thing called as free will. It is that already it has been decided. How many of you believe in this? Please show me thumbs up. कि जो भी करेंगे वो already decided है, सूर्या जी. Yes. Anybody else? Okay, fine.
There are two views, Doctor Hemant. One is that majorly your life is dictated by karma, no doubt at all. But also there is a free will. Let's say I have a scarcity of money. I can steal it. I can earn in a legal way. I can ask people. I can beg. So the choice is yours. So there is a destiny which governs our life, absolutely no doubt. But there is also a free will in which...
but these are contradictory statements, no?
There is also free will, basically. Not that everything is destined. That's why in Buddhism they say that your past karma can be changed by your present deeds.
Okay.
In Hinduism says the past, whatever you sowed, so you would reap. But
so there is a force which can drive you in a particular action, but if you are aware, then you have the freedom. But
yes,
the default inertia which is driving you towards a destiny.
Yes. So Buddhism is more pragmatic when it comes to karma. They say that if you do your present deeds perfectly well, and you know what is wrong and what is not wrong, what is correct, sorry. So it is possible for you to alter the course of your past karma to an extent by doing good deeds in this life.
Fine, Srinath.
Sir, this is
Yes, Malini ji. Gandhi sir, please, I'll call you again. Malini ji. Yeah.
Sir, when I have to decide what to do or what not to do, take a decision, I will just think of the pros and cons of the decision, try to make the best decision, and leave the rest to the God. And of course, we have to put our effort. and leave the rest to the God or to the universe.
Wonderful, madam. Malini. So Malini ji says that she uses her vichara, her buddhi, and then leaves it to the God. So there are two views that have emerged in the discussion so far. One is that you can push it, you don't become the doer, you push it until the last moment comes where you have to take the decision, you take it up. Another view that has come is that you should use the faculties that have been given to you, and but have faith in God and take a leap and learn from it. So these are the two views that have come up while making a decision. Apart from these two views, is there, and third view was complete surrender to God, and you can use a paper or a chit, keep it in front of a God, and then take a decision where you have that faith that God is guiding this, and you take that decision. So three views have come up. Anybody else who adds any other view? Another view was that you do good to more people, do not harm anybody, and take a decision in that way. So it is doing more and more good to more and more people and not harming anybody. So in this decision, 5 people are benefited. In this decision, 15 people are benefited. So I will give up the 5, go for 15 people. Which decision brings more good to more people? I will go for that decision. Okay. So any other view which has not been discussed so far? Gandhi sir, please keep
Sir,
it.
regarding the fate, you asked me, the destiny,
Yeah.
what already decided, but I don't believe in the destiny. So what I think that fate also can be won by our intelligence or our buddhi. So we can win our fate by our intelligence. That's what I think always I decide also. So the fate, I don't believe the fate. So might have written, but I can change by my fate, by my intelligence or my buddhi. That's what I think, sir.
That is what Krishna also tells in Bhagwad Gita. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. You have the freedom, you have the responsibility, and you have the eligibility to do the karma. So freedom to do the karma has been given to you. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. But how this karma will be processed, what kind of result will come to you, this you don't have any control, because gahena karmano gatihi. The way the karmas are processed, the way the results are decided, these phenomena is very profound and deep. But yes, Krishna agrees. He says, Udhared atmana atmanam na atmanam avsadayet. Man should use his higher faculty to lift himself up and should not push himself down. So my own intellect, I can use it for correct understanding, or I can delude myself and get into a wrong kind of understanding, and which will cause my downfall, or I can rise up. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasthaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunavrittisthaha adho gachanti tamasaha. One who does sattvic action goes up. One who does rajasic action remains in the middle. One who does tamasic action goes in a downward spiral. So in these 3 shlokas, Krishna gives a value to karma, says that you have the freedom to do the karma. Shankaracharya, in his bhashyas also says very beautifully, he says, kartum akartum anyatha kartum shakyam. Human being in any given situation has these 3 choices: to do it, to not to do it, or to do it entirely differently. So there are few people here who are choosing akartum. They are not doing anything. There are other people who are, there are group of people who are in a reaction mode. They do not even have that pause or freedom to decide or to respond consciously. If you slap me, I slap you back immediately. But if Mahatma Gandhi is standing there, you slap him, he shows another cheek. So it is responding differently. Kartum is automatic reaction of your system. It is like your animal instinct. Akartum is not doing anything there. And anyatha kartum is processing that, using all your faculty, whatever God has given you, this sensitive body, this emotions, intellect, and the antaratman, the conscience, everything put together, using all bit of your energies, you decide, you consciously decide, can I respond differently? Overcoming all the lower, tendencies and inertias within you to respond like an animal, you respond like a deva, you respond like a higher being. So this is very important to understand, my dear friends, that we do not have control over what life will bring in front of us. We also not have control over what will happen after the action is done. But in between that, there is a domain of inner freedom. What life brings, and before I do, I have the freedom to complete freedom to decide whether to do it or not to do it. And if I am doing it, whether to go by my instincts or to go from some higher instinct or higher principle in my life that I value. Am I going to live a value driven life, or am I going to live a impulse driven life? It is, the freedom is there within us. Now when this question came up in Bhagwad Gita, exactly this kind of a question, Lalita also says, consulting elders and guru to decide. Definitely. So when Krishna had to answer this question, Krishna says this in the 16th chapter, Yaha shastram vidhim utsrujya vardate kam karataha na sa siddhim vapanoti na sukham na paramam gatim. Those who act under the impulse of desire, discarding the injunctions of the scriptures, attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme goal in life. So, this intellect, therefore, is a big problem, because reading things, interpreting them in our own ways, getting information from different sources, we tend to make our own fundas, our own fundamental laws, which are not in touch with universal laws. And with those inner laws, we start living our life, and we start guiding others also and confusing others also. So Krishna says, please become aware of this phenomena. Ultimately, the things goes to Shastras. So Krishna says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanante Karya Vyavasthito Nyatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartumiharhasi. Therefore, let the scriptures be your authority in determining what should be done and what should not be done. Understand the scriptural injunctions and teachings, and then perform your actions in this world accordingly. So, my dear friends, the answer to the question, if I have to give in my life, whenever I was confused, I just took up Bhagwad Gita and started reading shlokas. Of course, I do that little bit of a component where I pray to Krishna, and I, allow a deep, voice within me to tell me which particular page I have to open, in Bhagwad Gita. But it has helped me all the time, directly or indirectly, some insight would come. So I, go with Krishna. I go with Krishna. I have complete faith in whatever Bhagwad Gita says. It is rock solid. No confusion, no confusion. So you have to base your decision on the scriptures, because the mind is such, our thinking pattern, when they get diluted, we don't even realize, we lose that insight. Again and again, Krishna has told in Bhagwad Gita that you have to surrender the action to me, but at the same time, you have to do the yuddha also, yuddham cha. So there is no way that we should run away from actions. That boundary between a sattvic karma and laziness and tamasic karma is very thin. On one side, we say, I am giving up the sense of doership, God is doing everything, but it is very easy to delude oneself and become lazy with these kind of thoughts. So please be very careful. Please be very careful. Never lose in touch with the Shastras. In your life, if years have passed that you have not read any shloka from Bhagavad Gita, you have not read any Upanishad, any Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Brahma Sutra, if you have not got in touch with those Shastras, then it is the inertia of the mind is such that it will very naturally drift you away from the truth, and you will be in a confused, deluded state. Take it in a written way, if you are not regularly keeping in touch, because this is the inertia of life. So therefore, if you do not understand anything, just read the definition of sattvic karma. That Bhagavad Gita decides the definition of tamasic karma and the definition of rajasic karma. What is sattvic karma? Sattvic karma is yasya na aham kruto bhava. So there is no such thing that I am going to do it. The ahankara that I am the doer is not there. Also, there is karma phala tyaga. The action is done without any kind of expectation in return. And the third is that the action is done according to the scriptural understandings. So when these three qualities are fulfilled, then it is called as a sattvic kind of a action. In sattvic action, one also looks into the yamas and niyama component. If the actions are going in line with yamas, satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, aparigraha, asteya. If none of the yama is broken in your action, then it is a sattvic action. Then what is the rajasic action? Kriyate bahulayasam. Raga dvesha kritam. So there is a lot of raga and dvesha involved in the action. The action is driven by intense pull of attachment, or the action is driven by intense pull of repulsion or hatred. So emotions are governing the actions. Intense emotions, like a motor, the person is not able to control himself in his expressing out his emotion. This expressed emotion is a big problem. There are some kind of people who actually take a pride on this. They say, I am a very truthful fellow. Whatever comes into my mind, I express it on the face. I do not keep anything inside. I think this is a very foolish statement, because the dhamma, the yama and dhamma and kshama component of a quality of a sadhaka that have been described is that there are certain vegas in life that you should not control. There are certain vegas in life that have to be controlled. You have to control your chariot. How can you say that I have given all the power to my horses to just go wherever they want? Why is this intellect then? Why is the charioteer who is riding the horses? Why is there are reins to control those horses? So, dear friends, the intellect that God has given, the ability to control your feeling that God has given, have to be utilized intelligently. The faculties that have been given to you are not there just to be kept aside. You have to use them, you have to exercise them, you have to do abhyasa. There are people, who say that I just pray to God and get into action. Imagine that you are a shooter, you are in a shooting competition, and you say that, yeah, I have to shoot, but what I will do is I will take the name of Rama, Krishna, I will surrender completely, and I will pray to God that I should hit the bullseye. And there is another fellow besides you who never worshipped any god, but day in and day out, he has done the abhyasa of shooting. So God has to maintain that law, that shraddha on truth. So if you say that my prayer will become a replacement of my abhyasa, how can God grant you success? Then will God not be doing an injustice to the fellow who has practiced for years together? The best is do your abhyasa and then get into vairagya. Then surrender it to God. So please, in your life, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Krishna says that yoga is a art of doing karma. More and more karma with lot of skill. You have to use every bit that God has given you. You have to use your body. You have to use your intellect. You have to use your emotion. You have to use your sensitive prana. Everything coming together. Then your bhakti. Then your jnana. Then the scripture. Everything should come together. And then you should take your action. Do not take your action with any particular one domain of your existence when another domain is going in the opposite direction. If you do not understand these complex things, do not confuse it. Just hold on to the Shastras. Yamas. I will not break yamas. Take action. Simple, very simple. See, if you do not think that you have become a gunatita, that you are beyond the sattva, rajas, tamas, and therefore you have become very dynamic and you can. I have been into this delusion for years together, and whenever I thought that I have become a transcendental gunatita kind of a person, most of the actions that I did, when I look back, they were utterly tamasic actions. Okay. So my advice to all the sadhakas is, do not try to become a gunatita, a transcendental person. At the most, try to become satvika and shuddha satvika. Jitna ho sake, satvik karma kare. So if you go by the shastras, very simple thing to decide what is to be done, what is not to be done is, do not do a tamasic or a rajasic action, do a satvik action. Now, what is a tamasic action? Mohad arabhyate karma. With some deluded understanding of his own concept, he begins a karma. No? Mohad arabhyate karma anapeksha cha paurusham. Not even understanding one's own level of growth, one's own abilities. And he doesn't even understand the consequences, what kind of damage, what kind of injury my actions are going to bring, in the long run, in the immediate run. So such kind of action are called as the tamasic action. In tamasic action, person also has a tendency of not doing things. But in sattvic action, also person doesn't overdo, but never avoids his responsibility. How do you define responsibility? Whatever is the role that has been given to you in the society, holding on to the role, even if it is a drama, you have to be very, very sincere in your role. I am a father to somebody, I am a son to somebody, I am a friend to somebody, I am husband to somebody, I am brother to somebody, I am student to somebody. Wherever, whichever role is there, there should be a perfection in doing that role, and there should not be confusion in the role because of your own deluded understanding. So, holding on to the responsibilities, never giving up responsibilities. Yuddhyacha. You have to worship me, surrender the action to me, but at the same time, you have to fight the war. You cannot run away. So, being there, doing the karma, and at the same time, of course, you pray, but that doesn't mean that you do not use your faculties or you do not do abhyasa. You do not practice or you do not do any hard work. So please contemplate on these thoughts. Thank you very much. Namaste. Namaste.